and greetings once again. Um, I guess I want to talk about maybe 2 or 3 guys who used to be in my life. And I thought because we were romantically involved, that meant that they wanted to be with me. But honestly, it was really all about, I'm about to manipulate this young woman into putting a roof over my head. Now, the first person who manipulated me into putting a roof over their head was my baby daddy, my child's father. I noticed every time him and the other baby mama, who he was creeping with while he was with me, every time that they would get into it, here he come on my doorstep with his backpack of clothes and shoes. I'm nice enough to let him in my house and let him sit around and just be there. So I'm going to say he had been at my house around that time almost a week. And I remember this so specifically. I used to keep these puzzles, the puzzles that you put together on a living room coffee table. And so when he first got to my house, I told him that I might need him to stay longer because at the time I had just broke up with someone and me and that person was not on good terms, and he had threatened to harm me and everything. And that was the dude who I made a story time about, who was about to get jumped by 8 dudes or maybe more. And I also made a story time about how he was on my phone texting his own blood sister like she was his side chick. And other things. I'm not even done talking about the situations I had with that person. But he and I was on the outs. I was no longer having dealings with him. He had threatened to harm me and everything. So when my baby daddy came around, at the time I told him I'm going to need him to stay longer. I remember I had him to stand at my front door and watch me while I go take out the trash because that guy was standing out there. So he stood out there and he watched me. He never did say anything to me or point the finger at me or anything that he usually do if he would see me by myself, because I wasn't by myself. He saw that my child's father was there, my baby daddy. So I also had my baby daddy at the time to watch me and my daughter walk to the mailbox. Because I feel like, he was always coming to me to put a roof over his head. I felt like he needed to do something for me because he wasn't paying any of my bills while he was staying with me on and off. So, okay. 4 days passed. My baby daddy was over there with me and my daughter. On this particular day, I decided to clean up. At the time, my baby daddy went to the corner store to get some cigars to roll up his tree. Then he came back. Now, I had took the puzzle that he had been putting together. I had took it loose and I just threw it in the box because I was trying to clean up. So I was in the kitchen washing dishes at the time he came back from the corner store. And he's like, "You took a loose that puzzle that I've been working on every day?" I said, "I took it a loose." "Yeah, I did, because I'm trying to clean up around here. And I feel like you should do the same. You should need to clean up after yourself while you're here." I go back in the kitchen. I go back in the kitchen to finish washing dishes and cleaning off my stove. And then once I was done, I go in the living room. His backpack is gone. His shoes is gone. And he had left my door. He didn't even tell me that he left. He had just left. My daughter was in the bed, asleep at the time, and I just said to myself, I know this black ASS MF did not leave my house like that without telling me when I told him that I was afraid of that guy and I needed him to stick around to help protect me and his daughter. Now, he the same, my baby daddy who did this, he the same one who told me to get the F away from his house because I don't live over there. And he was entertaining a woman while I was like 2 months pregnant at the time. I called him. I went downstairs and I looked out the door. Then I called him and I said, "Why did you leave?" Because before he left, I remember I was in the kitchen still washing the dishes, and he said, "Do you have like a bag or a trash bag?" I'm like, "No." Now, I had no idea that he was asking me that because he was trying to leave, because he got mad at me because I took a puzzle that was mine in my house. But he was asking that so he can pack up his stuff and go. And when I called him, I said, "Did you leave? And why you didn't tell me you was leaving? And my door was unlocked, and I told you what the situation that I'm going through with the guy who threatened to harm me." And I said, "If you don't give a shit about me, you can at least act like you give a shit about your child. Because if something happened to me, who gonna take care of her?" He gonna say, "First off, I'm gonna tell you I left because you pissed me off. You took a loose that puzzle, and I've been working on that puzzle for 3 days." I said, "Is you kidding me?" I said, "You still could have told me that you were leaving, but you didn't say nothing. So you don't care about me or your child. You don't really don't care. And you could care less." He's like, "Well, that the guy, he after you. He not after my baby. He's not gonna harm my child. He after you. You shouldn't have been messing with him." I said, "You know what? The next time you and your ugly baby mama get into it, do not come to my house and beg me to let you sleep in my house. Spend the night, nothing. You stay outside on the park bench where you belong." And he said, "What?" And I said, "You heard me. I didn't stutter." Then I hung the phone up in his face. Because, like, I'm in the kitchen washing dishes after letting this dude letting him, as my baby daddy, stay in my house because him and his baby mama was going through it. The second guy, I didn't mean to go into story time mode about that, but I had to bring that up because I still think about it and it pisses me off. The second guy to use me for a place to stay, my ex of 5 years. Now, when he and I met, he had been living with his niece who stayed in the same apartment complex, his grown niece. And she was like 20, 21 or 22 at the time. And she paid him to clean her apartment because she was moving out. She was moving out. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm a little exhausted today. She paid him to clean her apartment and everything, but on the present day that he was about to that she was leaving, she was moving, and she had him to go with her to give the house key back to the leasing office people, the landlord, and all that. I'm sitting on the porch with my daughter, watching my daughter ride her bike. Here he come walking around the corner with a backpack full of his clothes and some shoes in his hands. Now, I was so nice at the time. I didn't care to ask him, like, where you think you're going with all that? I just let him move in. He's like, can I put my stuff in your room? I said, yes. But I should have I shouldn't have never let him move in with me at all because, like, he did a lot. And I'm not done telling story times about him because not only he was punching holes in the wall and acting like he wanted to jump on me anytime he and I would get into an argument, he did more things than that. And I just feel like at times when he would come to the house, like at the end of the day, he would leave and then he would come back at night. He coming back to the house with a black eye, busted lip, got into a fight, blood on his shirt. I just feel like at that time I should have told him, you need to leave. But I didn't pay attention to I didn't take heed to none of that because I was like, okay, well, this is someone I'm in a relationship with. I'm going to support him and I'm going to, and just let him stay. But I shouldn't have let him stay with me that long. Because the 5th year that he was staying with me, that's when I started cheating on him because I just felt like he didn't appreciate me. He and I was getting into arguments about stupid stuff. He wanted to be mad at me and argue at me a whole month over a text message from a 50-year-old dude who I used to date. Like, he was trying to punish me for that. Because he said, well, he was reading me and the dude's text message, and when the guy asked me if he can take me out to eat, he don't understand why I didn't say that I was in a relationship. I was playing a cheating role. That's what he said. I said to him, you went through my phone acting like you wanted to play game apps and you didn't. I heard the music from the game apps, Candy Crush or whatever, but you really went through my text messages and read messages from me and this 50-year-old guy that I used to deal with. You read what you read. You got your feelings hurt. You shouldn't be snooping around in my phone while I'm asleep next to you. So you read what you read. It is what it is. If you hurt, that's on you. And just bringing up these memories about these guys who try to use me like a roll of toilet tissue. Try to use me for a place to stay and sometimes for money too. It just makes me so angry because I didn't, try to realize that they only wanted me to support them to the fact of the matter that they didn't have nowhere to lay their head. That's not my responsibility to put a roof over a dude's head just because he don't have nowhere to lay his head. And he don't have to come in my life and pretend like he want to be with me just to get me to let him live in my house. But I'm about to end this video. I do have to cook, and I'm feeling kind of sick because I went outside and it was raining, and now I feel like I might have a sinus headache, and I'm just exhausted. But until I post my next video later on tonight, until then, y'all stay blessed.